Good luck, everyone. Thank you once again to Gary, to the board, to all the people who put together this wonderful Melaveh, Malka, the Gaboin, who keep the shul going. Mayor Whiteman should get mentioned also from Melaveh Malka's food. Ruby, of course, with the music. All those who are involved in everything that goes on in the shul, day in and day out. Really, thank you all so much. From the bottom of my heart, we could not do what we do here in the shul without you. Quite literally, everyone who's simply a mispala, whether you come all the time, whether you come 2 or 3 times a year, it's very meaningful to all of us that you're here tonight, showing your care about our wonderful kehillah. We thank you very, very much. It gives me chizuk specifically, chizuk to all those who work so hard to keep the shul going. Thank you all for coming this evening. The Melaveh explains that Klal Yisrael arrived at Har Sinai by Yom Hazeh, on that day. Because even the very day before, they were not on the madrega to be makabel the Torah. Growth does not come quickly. Growth comes slowly. Somebody once asked the stipler, I don't feel I'm having hatzlacha in my learning. The stipler said, what do you mean? Every daf gemara you learn is a hatzlacha. Every tosfos you learn is a hatzlacha. It's one bit at a time, one drop at a time. Until after 49 days, they hit day 50, leaving Mitzrayim. They were ready, Shavuos, for Kabbalas HaTorah. I've talked many, many times over the years about increasing Yiras Shamayim, increasing Kavod HaTorah, increasing our understanding of Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim, which we do 3 times a day when we say Kriya Shema. And one of the things that we've accomplished this year, though it took about 15 years to get there, is to make the Zmanim in the shul such that we can daven in the morning on Shabbos with Kriya Shema B'Zman with the brachas. And the fact that I did not tell the shul they had to do it, but I asked for a vote, and the vast majority of the people in the shul understood. After many, many years, it comes slowly, until we feel we're on a madrega to accept a higher level, a lechatchila, of davening in such a way that we can do Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim in the best possible way. And I believe that affects all of our Shmiras HaMitzvahs. If every Shabbos we have to think, what time is Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim? What time do I have to get up in the morning? That has an effect on all of our Yiddishkeit, because we're always thinking about trying to keep Hashem's mitzvahs in the best possible way. So Ashreichem, to all of you in the shul, both the men and the women, for helping make this endeavor possible after so many years, drop by drop, step by step, and you'll see your children growing up in a shul where this is on our minds. It'll have an effect on their Yiras Shamayim. We should be zocheh to have good health, good parnasa, berevach, b'koved, as we raise our children through what could be interpreted as a very difficult time in history. I want to briefly address this Mezuzah scandal, which of course you all heard about over Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos. It should be on everyone's mind, because it really is a matter of Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim. When a person's buying a house and they're willing to spend $500,000 on a house, and they go into a store, and they know they have to buy 25 or so mezuzahs, and they ask for a price. And mezuzahs these days are not priced like they were 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you can get a decent mezuzah for $50 or $75. Now, a cheap mezuzah is $140. A good mezuzah, $250. And, unfortunately, it's something that was known but not talked about for the last 20 years, as it was discovered again and again that specifically, not so much private sofa, but stores that sell in bulk. And they see people come into the store who don't necessarily have payas behind their ears, and they think, they're asking for the cheapest mezuzahs. Rabbanim that I'm very close with sent their wives, actually, into these stores to buy 2 or 3 mezuzahs, and to say, look, I don't need expensive ones. Let me have the cheapest you have. And when they brought them home, they discovered problems. This past Wednesday night, I saw dozens and dozens of possible mezuzahs. You cannot imagine They're so puzzled, I think in elementary school, a child can tell the psul. It's beyond belief. The big stores buy suitcases of mezuzahs that come from Eretz Yisrael, and then they have to sell them. So when they look them over very quickly, they say, okay, who's going to be the sucker who can pay $140 a mezuzah for 25 mezuzahs and think, oh, they'll do it. They're not going to ask a Roth. They're not going to have somebody look at it. It's fine. I cannot name any particular places that was also left out of the newspapers. However, going forward, I have to give you a very, very, very serious answer. The mezuzahs that were bought by people 20 or 25 years ago most probably will not have a problem, but not definitely. Even just tonight, somebody told me their mezuzahs were over 20 years old and they found many of them to be puzzling. I am going to recommend very strongly for each person in their house to take down 1 or 2 mezuzahs, and I happen to be available between 6:30 and 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. I don't know why I'm so available during that time, but I'm available in the evening, and I have plenty of time to look at these mezuzahs. If it seems that from these older mezuzahs that there's a problem, I'll tell you, and then really they have to be checked by the sofer. In terms of which sofer and so on, we're trying to compile a list of sofrim that are trustworthy. Unfortunately, even some of those who I thought were trustworthy, I'm not so sure about anymore, and that's a little bit of a problem. If a person bought a mezuzah since COVID, that's when the problem became extreme, and that's why it's starting now. During COVID, there were people who died. I know in Brooklyn we deny this, but there were a lot of people, unfortunately, who died. And because of that, Sifrei Torah were being written l'zecher nishmasim. And when the Sofrim saw they could sell Sifrei Torah for $40,000, $50,000, which for a Sofer in Eretz Yisrael is parnasa for a whole year, so the mezuzahs had to be written quickly. And they were written very quickly. And it became a much bigger problem. And more people started bringing some of the Gedolei Poskim here in Brooklyn, and it became a bigger problem in Flatbush and elsewhere because we have these big stores that buy and sell in bulk, as opposed to most of the private sofrim, but not all, but most of the private sofrim don't seem to have that problem. So if you're one of those who bought something recently, I recommend right away you should have them all checked. If again you're somebody who had them for many, many years, take down 1 or 2, bring them to me. I know enough to tell you if you need to check all the mezuzahs in your house, or to say these look like they're quality, and Baruch Hashem, you don't have to worry. Let's go back to something happening. The main reason why we're here tonight is to honor and to give our Karasan Tov to Menashe and to Tzippy Roth. All they have done, our wonderful Tehillah. Menashe, of course, is always smiling, always davening with us very seriously. He's extremely reliable. Whenever we need him, he'll help out with a minion that's looking for a 10th person. We know we can call him, and he'll make himself available. He comes to the shiburim. He sets up for the kiddush. Perhaps most importantly, after all of you leave, he cleans up after the kiddush. That's a hard job. And somebody cares enough about the shul to do it. He deserves a tremendous hakaras hatov. He doesn't want any fanfare. He's not interested in any attention. And I think that's the reason why everybody likes you, Menashe. You're everybody's friend. You're everybody's friend. Mrs. Roth comes to shul with her children. At least every Shabbos that there's a kiddush. That's a hint for all the women. She should be your role model. Come to shul. It's such a beautiful davening. Come. At least when there's a kiddush. And we have to have more kiddushes, guys. We got to have more. It's so important. The women don't realize how much it means to the shul when they come to the shul. My wife always reminds me, the women are the ones that really make the shul. And don't we all agree? We all agree. The women are the ones that really make the shul. You got to come, not just for Shani and Kippur. Try to come on Shabbosim as much as possible. I know it's hard. Let's get back to the guest of honor, Mrs. Roth. Thank you for being that role model and staying afterwards, even after the kiddush is being cleaned up, to schmooze with the women who are there, not just her relatives, but all of her friends, to schmooze about chinuch of children, to schmooze about the latest things going on, issues of kashrus, issues of Pesach cleaning. That's one of her expertises, I understand. She's a tznuah, a great mother to her children, and I'm told a wonderful head counselor for her camp. And last but not least, a very good friend of my wife. That's very important. I think that my wife comes to shul more often because she knows that you're there. I think so. I think so. So thank you both for all you do for the shul. That you should do on purpose. Now you do it just by being there and drawing everyone to you and being so friendly. As Hashem, you should have nachas from your children. As Hashem, should have gesund, should have parnasa, v'chulei. You and yours should have all the best. And to all the members of the Kehillah as well, I give you my birchas kohen, that you should continue to grow both with your families, and we should grow together as a Kehillah, striving to reach higher and higher. Mechail, choil, agutva.